welcome to another edition of The Lightest and Best, where we look at the lightest and best knives from a variety of manufacturers. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to look at the lightest and best ultralight EDCs in the world. And this was very arbitrary in deciding what is ultralight. I chose arbitrarily 2.3 ounces. Initially, I wanted to make it a top 10 ultralight knives, but I just couldn't do it. It was too painful. It would have been less than 2 ounce knives, but I wanted to include a lot of knives and show you a lot of knives between the 2 ounce and 2.3 ounce that are still great light knives that are just a little bit heavier, but still fit into my opinion of what an ultralight knife is. First of all, we'll start with the inclusion criteria. The first inclusion criteria, which I've mentioned, it has to weigh less than 2.3 ounces. The second inclusion criteria is it has to have a 4-finger grip. The third is it needs a pocket clip. The fourth is it needs to have a one-hand deployment. And there are a couple of knives that I want to bring up that I had to exclude that just broke my heart. The first is the Chris Reeves MNANDI. The MNANDI weighs 1.5 ounces. However, it's a nail nick opener. It doesn't have a flipper or a thumb stud, so really it's a two-hand opener. This is a great knife. The specific version I have here is the ebony wood, but it has that Chris Reeves smoothness, and it is a wonderful quality knife. I recommend it highly. The next knife that I had to exclude that broke my heart was the Strider PTCC, and this is because this is the version without the pocket clip. It meets the inclusion criteria of weight in that it weighs only 2.3 ounces. This is one of my favorite knives because the handle feels so good in your hand. Much like the Spyderco Dragonfly, it has a forward finger choil, except instead of being 50-50, it's 100% on the knife, and then your hand just fits in there great. Look at the shape of your hand. You have one line from your metacarpal phalangeal joint here that's straight, and then you have the line here from your thenar eminence, and it forms sort of a triangle, just like the handle of this knife. So the handle fits in there just like a glove, and it feels great in your hand. The Strider CCPT, it's a wonderful knife. There is a Strider that does have a clip, which is very similar. It's the Strider PT without the CC. It has the clip, but it didn't meet the weight criteria because this weighs 0.2 ounces heavier. It's 2.5, so it didn't meet the 2.3 ounce. And as you can tell, the CC is a little more contoured with the scale. They took a little more weight off, whereas the regular PT is a little blockier. Both feel equally good in the hand, however. But if you like a pocket clip, go with the PT. If you wanted 0.2 ounces lighter, go with the CC. Okay, well, let's get to the actual knives. Coming in at number 20 at 2.3 ounces is the Boker A2 Mini. This is an interesting knife because it's one of the South African style knives in that it's a front flipper. It has this little jimping here that you pull and you open it from the front. The advantage is that whenever it's closed, it doesn't have a flipper sticking out here, and it's very slim in the pocket, and it opens very nicely. It has a blade that is 2.89 inches long. It uses VG10 steel. It's a wonderful knife. Number 20, the Boker A2 Mini at 2.3 ounces. The next knife is another 2.3 ounce knife. It's new this year from Zero Tolerance. It's the 0460 in carbon fiber. This knife is absolutely gorgeous. They developed this bronzed carbon fiber that looks absolutely beautiful. And the other thing that's wonderful about this knife is its distinctive Persian upswept blade. It is a beautiful knife, and it uses super steel. It has S35VN steel. It is the longest blade in my collection at 3.25 inches. And again, as I mentioned, it's a 2.3 ounce knife. Wonderful knife from Zero Tolerance. The next knife on the list, also weighing in at 2.3 ounces, is the Chris Reeve INKOSI in carbon fiber. 2.3 ounces. It has a blade length of 2.75 inches. This knife is a wonderful knife, and the design is great. It flips open great. It uses a detent ball as the lock bar stabilizer for the blade. So it has this smooth action where it has one click to lock up, And everything that they considered to be wrong with the SEBENZA, they corrected on the INKOSI. For example, the pocket clip, instead of resting on the lock bar, rests on the frame. They have a larger pivot. The blade's a little stockier. They use bilateral thumb studs instead of the SEBENZA's unilateral thumb stud. It has a simple construction of one pivot and one standoff. They took off the lanyard tube. It is a wonderful knife. The REEVE INKOSI at 2.3 ounces. The next knife, also at 2.3 ounces, is the BROUS RAZORBACK. It has a 3-inch blade and weighs 2.3 ounces, as I mentioned. It uses D2 steel. This blade is one of the most stunning blades I've seen with its recurved nature. Another thing that's distinctive about BROUS knives are that they always put the flipper tab ahead of the pivot so that it really is one of the best flippers you'll ever have. The BROUS RAZORBACK. And the next knife, coming in at 2.2 ounces, is the Benchmade 470 EMISSARY. This is an assisted opening knife, and it is a wonderful knife. One of the unique things about the knife is it still has a lock on it, so you can lock it open or you can lock it closed. And it has the axis lock. Oops, I had a lock there. So that you can close it, and when you open it, just flies out. One of the things I love about this knife is that its aluminum handle feels great, and it has a fuller groove that leads you to the thumb stud for easy location and opening. It also has a wonderful loop over clip for easy storage in your pocket. This is a great knife. I love it. The Benchmade EMISSARY at 2.2 ounces. Another knife at 2.2 ounces I alluded to earlier, which is the REEVE 21 Small SEBENZA in carbon fiber. Its blade is 2.94 inches. It weighs 2.2 ounces. It has the super steel S35VN. It is so smooth. It defines the REEVE SEBENZA smoothness. And it is just a great knife. It's a simple, uncomplicated knife. Anyone that's a serious collector needs this to be one of their grail knives. The REEVE SEBENZA at 2.2 ounces. Wonderful knife. The next knife is the LIONSTEEL TRE. And the TRE is distinctive in that it has 3 methods of opening. You can open it with the flipper tab. You can open it with the thumb disc. The thumb disc is the best way to do it. Or whenever you're in Europe, you can take the flipper tab off. It's held on by this screw, and the thumb disc off, and you can just open it in a two-hand manner in European countries that don't allow it. This knife is very light at 2.19 ounces and has extensive milling both on the titanium and the carbon fiber. It's a great knife with a beautiful blade and a joy to deploy. The next knife on the list at 2.18 ounces is the Benchmade 485 VALET. It has a 2.96 inch blade. It has the axis lock, which is a fun lock because it is bilateral. If you're left-handed or right-handed, you can open it easily well. It deploys well. It closes well. This knife has one of my favorite steels, Boker M390, and at 2.18 ounces, it is a great knife. Again, it has the typical Benchmade loop over clip that's wonderful. It uses G10 scales. The Benchmade VALET. Coming in next is another Benchmade knife at 2.1 ounces, the Benchmade 531 Pardue. Before I get going on this, I actually have to admit that there is a Pardue knife that is a little lighter. It's the 530. This knife was designed to correct the problems of the 530. The 530, as you can tell, this has a high flat ground for improved cutting. The original 530 is a similar handle, but it had a dagger style blade, which was odd. It didn't cut well because it only got to have its flat ground from halfway down instead of higher down. And then the top dagger part wasn't even sharpened, and so really it was just an aesthetic thing and it lost its function. And so enough people complained that they came out with the 531 and made a high flat ground. The original 530 only weighed 1.88 ounces. This weighs 2.1 ounces, but I think it's an improvement and worth the extra weight because of the improved blade, the Pardue 531 from Benchmade. And the next one on the list is the Spyderco S. This is a great knife. As you know, Spyderco recently came out with another compression lock, which is the Para 3. They've had the Paramilitary 3, but this is a compression lock that came out that is a little smaller than the Para 3. It has the 50-50 forward choil and then places to put your hands. And actually, this is a preferred size to me, and you still have the fun of the compression lock, which is one of my favorite fun locks on a blade. They were able to do this with the powdered steels that came out. They could fold them into a mold, and they have this spider web pattern both on the handle and the blade. I think it's a wonderful looking knife. It comes out at 2.0 ounces even. It is an older knife, so it uses a lower grade steel, which was a higher grade steel back in the day, which is 440C. They don't really use that much on knives these days because the availability and the lower price on the steels. But it is a great knife and of great historic value. Many of you won't be able to get this because the prices have gone up so much on the secondary market. It's just a collector's knife for guys like me, but I wanted to show it off a little bit, and if I had a video on the best ultralight knives, I definitely wanted to include this knife, the Spyderco S. Moving right along with the video, the 10th lightest knife is the Protech Brend 2, and this is one of the only automatic knives that I have in the lineup. It is, if you want an automatic knife, get a Brend 2. This has the beautiful Coca-Cola wood and the aluminum handles that are black coated. It is a 2.9-inch blade. It weighs 1.9 ounces and uses 154 cm steel. It is a wonderful knife if you want an automatic. I'm going to start making a little pile here. The next knife at number 9 is the Spyderco Calypso Jr. This is out of manufacture also, but basically it's a small Delica. I'm going to bring the Delica out here. Here's a Delica. So the Calypso Jr. and the Delica have the exact same size blade at 2.875 inches. However, the Calypso Jr. has a much more efficient handle than the Delica. And the difference is that in the Calypso Jr., they didn't use steel liners like the Delica. So whereas the Delica comes in at about 2.3 ounces, the Calypso Jr. only weighs 1.9 ounces. It uses a VT10 scale, and you have to buy it on the secondary market, but it's just a perfect size and a wonderful blade. It makes number 9 on the ultralight best knife lists. And the next blade is another Spyderco blade. It's a Spyderco Kiwi 4. It has a blade of 2.94 inches. It weighs 1.9 ounces also. It has a very long handle if you use the forward choil. Look, I have a full, I don't know, centimeter and a half left over there for my hand. And it closes, it opens with the spider hole. And the Spyderco Kiwi has a VG10 blade. It has this Westcliff blade that's interesting for those of you that like Westcliff blades. And I'm going to put it as our number 8 lightest knife. The next knife I am totally in love with. It is the Hoback MK Ultra. Its blade is 2.5 inches. It has this Tonto style blade. It comes in at 1.9 ounces. Jake Hoback uses the AEB-L type steel, and it uses a flipper. It is a wonderful knife, very good attention to detail, and I think Jake Hoback has one of the coolest maker's mark in the industry with his Hoback hatchet. He also puts a scripture verse on every knife, so I appreciate him integrating his faith with his knife making skills. The Hoback MK Ultra at 1.9 ounces comes in at number 7 on the lightest scale. Another 1.9 ounce blade, this is 1.8 ounces, is the Boker Plus Urban Trapper, and I have the Mass Drop edition here that has the blue anodized scales and the upgraded steel to be S35VN. These are wonderfully flipping knives. It has a black coating on it, and it has a deep carry pocket clip. It is the longest knife that I have at 3.5 inches on the blade and 1.8 ounces. This is great. This is the knife I'm taking with me whenever I do my backpacking trips because it's so light, it's invisible, and it's the most blade you can get for the lightest weight. There's one thing I have to talk to you guys about. A knife that is not in the list is the little brother of the Boker Plus Urban Trapper, which is the Petite Urban Trapper. Instead of a 3.5 inch blade, it has a 2.5 inch blade, and it weighs only 1.05 ounces. It uses a lower steel VG10, which is what this one came out with initially. But at 1.05 ounces, it would be the lightest in my assortment. It's on my grail list. I have a pretty modest grail list. But if it functions as well as its big brother, it's going to be one of my favorite knives. I couldn't put it in the video because I don't own it, and therefore I didn't feel ethically able to make an evaluation on it. But please consider it if you're really wanting to go ultralight. The Boker Plus Urban Trapper Petite at 1.05 ounces. This is 1.8 ounces. Number 6. Number 5 is a blade that's no longer sadly in production, which is the Benchmade Aphid. This is back when they did lower quality blades and less price. It has a 2.38 inch blade. It's a little bit of an assisted opener. It weighs 1.65 ounces, and because of its age, like the Spyderco S, it uses the old 440 steel. It used to cost less than $100, and now sometimes they go for more than that on the secondary market. Still, you can get 4 fingers on it if you have small hands. It's a great little blade. The Benchmade Aphid at 1.65 ounces. The next blade I want to point out is the SOG Flash 1. This is a very old knife. It stood the test of time. It has a 2.5 inch blade. It's an assisted opening too. It weighs 1.3 ounces, flies out like a dream. It has Aus-8 steel, and this occasionally will rust. I just hit it with a little steel wool, and it takes the rust right off. It has a deep carry pocket clip. It is a wonderful knife. You don't worry about hurting it because it's such an inexpensive knife. You can still get these on Amazon.com for around $42. Number 4, the Flash 1 from SOG. The next knife I have is an out-the-front automatic. It is the Microtech 70 UTX. The 70 stands for it's 70% the size of the Ultratech. And it is a wonderful knife also. It has a blade that is 2.375 inches, and the total knife length is 5.75 inches. It retracts and it extends automatically. It weighs 2.23 ounces and uses Elmax steel. The next blade is a collector's blade. It's no longer in production. It's the William Henry Westcliff. As you know, William Henry tends to make limited runs on everything that they do. It has a blue anodized titanium clip. It uses carbon fiber scales. It has a wonderful blade. It uses ATS 34 steel, and the fittings are stainless steel, which is gold plated with real gold. It has a button lock, and it opens and closes just effortlessly. This is 1.2 ounces of happiness. It's one of my favorite gentleman carries knives. It's got a Wharncliffe blade also. The William Henry Westcliff in carbon fiber. And now, tied for number 1 at 1.2 ounces is the Spyderco Dragonfly. This is the Dragonfly in ZDP 189. It's got a 2.25 inch blade, weighs 1.2 ounces, and is a wonderful knife. So there is the collection of the top 10 ultralight knives. Now we're going to start with the Academy Award of Knives. First of all, we'll start for the Academy Award of the ultralight knife with the best steel, and I'm going to call it a 5-way tie. There's really great steels, and these are 3 steels I want to discuss. First of all, with the Spyderco Dragonfly and the LIONSTEEL the Spyderco Dragonfly, it has ZDP 189 steel. It is one of the hardest steels with the hardest Rockwall scale of any knife. The second steel I want to mention is the steel that's on the LIONSTEEL TRE and the Benchmade 740 Valet. It's M390 steel. This is a wonderful steel. And then thirdly is the steel S35VN, another super steel. The Boker Plus Urban Trapper and the Zero Tolerance 0460 both have the S35VN steel. So those are my favorite steels, the best steels in ultralight knives. The next award is for the ultralight knife with the longest blade. And I want to mention the runner-ups first. The Zero Tolerance 0460 and the Benchmade 531 Pardue both have a 3 1/4 inch blade, and they're the runner-ups. But the winner of the contest today is the Boker Plus Urban Trapper with a blade that is 3.5 inches long, so it gets 2 Academy Awards. The Boker Urban Trapper with the longest blade in an ultralight knife. All right, the next Academy Award for knifedom is the ultralight knife that is the lightest knife. And in my assortment here, we have 2 knives that weigh 1.2 ounces, the William Henry Westcliff in carbon fiber, 1.2 ounces, and the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 in 1.2 ounces. These are both wonderful knives. The Westcliff is a little fancier, more expensive knife. This is a more utilitarian knife with the forward finger choil. I just want to point out the real winner, which I don't possess, would have been the Boker Plus Urban Trapper Petite at 1.05 ounces. I just don't possess it, so I was unable to make a recommendation on it. So those are some wonderful light knives. The next Academy Award for an ultralight knife is the best value knife, the least expensive. The runner-up in this category is the Spyderco Dragonfly. If you use the VG10 Dragonfly, it only costs $56. And the winner is the SOG Flash 1, which still on Amazon.com you can still get for $42. The best value knife is the SOG Flash 1. And the next Academy Award for the best ultralight knife is the best ultralight gentleman's carry. And it's going to be a 4-way tie for me. One of the 4-way ties is going to go to the Protech Brend 2 with the aluminum dark scales and the Coca-Cola wood. I find this a very handsome knife, and it's always fun to have an automatic. The second part of the 4-way tie would go to the LIONSTEEL TRE. It has the carbon fiber handles. Its blade is really handsome. It has titanium, but look, there's milling all through the titanium. The captive pivot is really beautiful looking. It's a joy to deploy. Love this knife. The LIONSTEEL TRE 2015 Blade Knife of the Year. And also, I think the Valet by Benchmade is a very handsome knife. Its G10 scales are smooth and lovely in the gray. It uses an M390 steel. It deploys and retracts easily. Its pocket clip looks great. It's slim in the pant. It's a great gentleman's carry knife. And then, of course, the William Henry Westcliff. It's maybe the fanciest, most expensive knife I have. It uses real 24 karat gold plating on the hardware. It has the button lock. It has carbon fiber scales. It has a beautiful blue-purple burple anodized titanium clip. Beautiful knife. Really easy to deploy and retract. Those are my top 4 gentleman carry ultralight lives. The next award goes for the ultralight knife that has the best automatic or assisted knife action. And there's 4 knives in the top 20 that had automatic knives or assisted function. The first is the SOG Flash 1. It's an assisted open knife. You have to actuate it with the thumb stud. And then the Benchmade EMISSARY. I love this knife. I love it. And it is a great knife. And then there are 2 automatics. One is an out-the-front automatic, the Microtech 70 UTX. I'm not going to have this as my very favorite knife because to actuate it and retract it is a little hard on your thumb. This knife has always been a little bit tight, so it's not a knife that you can really sit at your desk and play with all day. However, it is a great EDC knife and very light. But my favorite automatic knife is the Protech Brend. It flies out really great. It's beautiful, as I've mentioned, with the Coca-Cola wood scales and the aluminum handle. And it's probably my favorite automatic ultralight knife. And the next category I'm going to call the ultralight knife that is the best fidget toy. It's going to be a tie between the BROUS RAZORBACK. The RAZORBACK has such a great flipping action that it is the most fun knife to flip. And then also the Spyderco S, because I love the compression lock. I like how your fingers are out of the way whenever you flip it, but I can sit around and play with the compression lock all day long. I love the Para 2, Pellemari 2, and the Para 3 also, but this Spyderco S is something else. So it's the BROUS RAZORBACK and the Spyderco S for the most fun ultralight fidget toy. Well, that concludes our video for today. I'm sorry that it's gone so long, but I wanted to show you all 20 of my favorite ultralight knives. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.